everybody. It's been a very long time, I know. A lot has happened since the last time I filmed, and I promised the next time that I came up, I was gonna be able to talk to you guys of my experience while I was pregnant. Unfortunately, my husband did get a new job, and he's working nights, and I work days, so it has been a little hard for us to spend more time together as a family during the weekdays. So whenever we had a chance, when I came home from work, I would of course spend time with him before he head off, and the weekends try to be with each other and with their family. And a lot has happened ever since. So I do apologize, and I decided, as you guys could tell, it's not the same setup as I've done the last two videos, but I have to be committed to these videos, so I decided when I can and I have time, doesn't matter where I'm at, I'm gonna just stop and film these videos. So let's just get started. And just FYI, Zoe is you can see her foot, she's down there right next to me, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about while I was pregnant. So for my last video, you guys saw that I found out that I was pregnant, and one of the symptoms was those cramps. It started in the beginning, but eventually it stopped cramping, so it wasn't the same. So the morning sickness, it was not as bad as I've heard others, as in every single thing that would eat that would throw up. That wasn't me at all. So like I said, I told my boss at the time that I was pregnant, so just in case I came late because of morning sickness and stuff like that. It did happen, not as often, but it did happen. I would wake up and it was just throwing up, just saliva, just acid, just stomach acid. And I would throw up sometimes what I ate the night before, but it wasn't every day. But I did have morning sickness, which is, again, just the same. Doesn't mean you just have it in the morning. You could actually have it the rest of the day. So I would throw up either just saliva or the food that day before. And at work, I've only threw up a couple of times. I actually did it in front of one of my coworkers. I'm like, sorry, Dan. It wasn't on purpose, but just certain smells would get me. And then certain items as well. It was after, like, exactly after my 3 months was over, when I hit the 4 months, that's when my morning sickness stops. Like, it stopped. It just stopped for me. Like, everything, like I said, everything before that, every little thing might make me, nauseous or whatever. And just FYI, for new moms out there, one time when I woke up, I threw up it was like yellow foam. Instead of being clear saliva or white saliva because of the bubbles, it was like yellow, and I kind of panicked. And that's normal. It's completely normal, especially when you have an empty stomach. So that's pretty much all stomach acid that eventually you end up producing when you were sleeping, and you end up throwing up in the morning. That's pretty much it. It was yellow, and I freaked. I'm like, what's going on? But it's that. So that's completely normal. I didn't do it as often. I maybe did it like twice. But other than that, it was normal. But like I said, after I hit the 4 months pregnant, like at the 4 months, like, okay, I'm in the 4th month now, my second trimester, as you might say, I was done with the nausea. So I was like, yes. I was happy about that. The sleeping. Oh my gosh. I would want to sleep any position, doesn't matter, left, right, on my stomach, on my back, it doesn't matter. Eventually, I just started doing it like any woman would do it on their period, be on the left or be on the right. And then, as I was getting bigger and bigger, the sleeping wasn't a problem. For me, I love to sleep, so that wasn't an issue. But eventually, as I was getting bigger, or technically when Zoe was growing more, I would, start feeling her moving around. Like literally, like if you're on your left, she would move to like the left side of my stomach. If I slept on my right, she would be on my right side of my stomach. During the biggest, when she was getting bigger and bigger, she would move, not as much. She would move. But the funny thing is, they do recommend that you always sleep on your left side. The reason for that, I believe, is because certain organs, I forgot what liver it was. I think it was, what liver, I'm sorry. What organ was on the right-hand side that would be squeezing it and it'd be harder for you to breathe. But, and it kind of helped the baby too, because I guess she felt she had more room on the left. So, but I would be tired. Eventually, I get too tired just to being on my left. And then I move to my right. And I would literally talk to her. I would talk to her and say, Mama, just for a little bit, let me sleep on my right. Just for a little bit. She would, but then she like literally kicked me on my left side, saying, hey, go back to the left. And sure enough, I ended up moving to the left. So I would move to the left, and then I tried to be on my back, but she hated it. She hated more than being on the left. She would literally like punch and kick at that point when she started moving and kicking. That's when I was like, nope, she wants to be on the left. Sure enough, it was on the left. So it was eventually ended up being harder when I slept, because I would have to be consistently moving left, right, left, right, left, right. It was tiresome at the end. Now, so that's regarding sleep. Sleep pretty much eventually got harder. I didn't dream as much, just in case you guys are wondering. I didn't dream as much. The foods and the cravings. Now, the food, I pretty much ate everything I could. I did check certain things that I couldn't eat, and one of the things that I saw that I couldn't eat as much was seafood, which I love seafood, especially sushi. Sushi, of course, raw. I couldn't eat it. I was like craving it so bad. That was one of the cravings. I guess you could say cravings, but not really, because I love sushi, so it's not like out of the ordinary. I really didn't have cravings like all of a sudden I want this or all of a sudden I want that. No. Me, it's just that when I'm hungry, I'm like, I feel like this, I feel like that. So luckily, they were nice enough to me to cumplir mis deseos, as in wanting to get me what I wanted. But, which was the good part about being pregnant. But, other than that, I was just walking out on the mercury. The mercury part was that you're not supposed to eat. So just make sure not to eat anything raw, not even tuna, and make sure everything's cooked completely. Nothing that is not well cooked. But other than that, food-wise, I was good. Eating what I supposed to, taking those prenatal vitamins when I ate. That's for sure. At a certain point, even during the morning sickness, I was good eating the prenatal pills. But of course I would forget sometimes. Other than that, the foods and cravings were pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. The swollen feet. It happened to me big time. I was not only swollen on my feet, which is pretty bad, but also my entire body. Eventually I gained a whole lot of weight, but also I was completely swollen. I was very, 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 very thick. But also because I didn't walk a lot. That's the biggest thing. I didn't walk a lot. I work for an office. Hi, mamas. I work for an office, so I didn't walk that much. Again, I could have because I work at an on-site. So an on-site means like leaving the office and going into the location and walking around and keeping an eye on things. So I didn't do as much because I was more focusing on recruiting, which I work at a staffing agency. So I didn't walk as much. So maybe it would have helped a little bit of how swollen I got. And of course, regarding my weight. But I did definitely get swollen feet. Some people get it for other reasons, but that was my main reason. And salt was the biggest factor. That's for anybody. That's what ended up happening one time for my cousin, who I think she already knew she was pregnant, but I could be wrong. But sure enough, before we found out that she was pregnant, she got her feet were swollen after eating noodles that had a lot of salt, and she knew she got that from the last time she got pregnant, and the second time around it happened again. So it's common not to eat a lot of salt. So you guys love salt, just a little bit, not that much if you can, not at all. Which salt, either way, it's not super a good thing for you to have too much of. So salt, lay off of it. Eventually your swollen feet do go down a little bit, and just FYI, your feet do get bigger, as in size. I was 7 to 7.5. Now I'm 7.5 to 8. So yeah, mamas. So just be ready for that. The shoes, you need to get a wider shoes. At that point, I was trying to be only wearing sandals when I'm off work. But you do get your feet swollen and they do grow. Now, regarding work. So work, I was working at the time. I ended up trying to do as much as I could within the months that I was working there. Excuse me. Which actually skipped the part regarding while I was pregnant regarding work. I actually had a couple of times that I would come in really late. One time I came in, like, if my shift started at 7, I came in till 9. I had cramps, but not regular cramps, like painful, like period cramps. My legs. I got a lot of, like, you could say, what do you call those? I can't remember the name of it. Well, just like muscle leg cramps. Like, let me grab her. So, say hi, mamas. So, the leg cramps were really painful. I would literally wake up in the middle of the night crying in pain. Like, I didn't want to scream because I lived in an apartment at that point. Well, I still live in an apartment now, but like it seemed like anybody could hear me and everybody could hear me. But the cramps were pretty painful. I ended up getting it while I was asleep, in the middle of the day, when I was in the shower. So it was pretty painful. It was everything from like the back of the calves. It would be the entire leg. It could be even from the hip down. It was random, and it was very painful. What I would do is instantly, at first it was just literally me trying to put my leg back, my foot backward to stretch out the muscle. That didn't help at a certain point. And then eventually what worked was me literally getting up from the bed like immediately, and then just like stretching or putting my tippy toes, whatever I could, or keeping it flat and my feet flat on the ground. And that actually helped me several times. But eventually at the end, that's when I figured out what to do, which was the standing up part. This happened when I was literally on my second trimester. It only happened for a few months. It didn't last that long. It wasn't in the beginning of the pregnancy, that's for sure. It wasn't as bad at the end, but it started when I was in my second trimester. It was pretty painful. I never had cramps like that before. So they say you should start walking more, you should drink more water, you should drink some ice, you should stretch your legs. So there's different things that they say that you should recommend to do. But again, everybody's different. So you could either just make sure to stand up when that happens, or drink a lot of water, or walk more. So just FYI, do whatever you can possible to prevent this from happening, because it was very painful for me. Trust me, I would cry several times. So like I said, going back from work, I kept going to work till the most that I could. I ended up leaving work a whole month before I had her. She was scheduled to be born on June 12th, and I ended up leaving on May 25th. The reason for that also is because I got sick towards the end. I actually ended up getting the cold. I was pretty much sick. It was bad. I ended up getting a pretty bad cold, and they're like, well, you need to rest already. You're still going to work, and this and that. So you're not, I know some medicals are different, locations are different, but my doctor actually told me, I could only send you on maternity leave after a certain amount of weeks of pregnancy. So that which is weird. That same week that she could send me, which I was my appointment. It's like, how are you? I went with my cousin at the time actually, and then she's like, just take the rest. Just go on maternity leave already. You need to rest already. You're getting sick already. Just go on maternity leave. I wanted to hold it as long as I could because I know maternity leave is a certain amount of time after you have the baby, and at this point I didn't want to risk losing, income coming in, because nowadays it's not that easy just for the one parent to work. So I just wanted to make sure everything was set, because also at the time we had to move by the month after she's born, so it was a whole situation. So that's why I was like thinking it so much and not going maternity leave earlier. So eventually my cousin's like, no, just go. So I did. So regarding work, do what you can. If you need to go to work, I completely understand. You should try the best that you can to work as much as you can, but at the same time, take it easy. If it's a stressful job, I recommend just let everything go. Just don't stress over work. Your health is more important. I think that's one of the reasons also I got sick. I was kind of stressing out at the end because getting worried about things at home and then work, and it was just an emotional roller coaster. And yeah, so I recommend just keeping an eye out regarding your health if you're thinking of working and while you're pregnant. I'm not saying that to work. I'm just saying just take care of yourself while you're working and walk as much as you can. Don't do what I did, especially with the swollen feet and all that jazz. So clothes. It's expensive. It's really expensive. Family have been trying to buy me, pants or whatever, to use while I was pregnant. Not all brands work. Yeah, my family bought me some things from Target. To my size, it didn't work. Like I said, I ended up gaining a lot of weight and getting super swollen. So Target does accommodate certain things, certain items, but it depends on your comfort, how comfortable you are. You could be pregnant to, some cases you don't want nothing to touch you or to be tight on you or to even feel a certain way. And especially if you're working or you're not working. So there's certain kind of articles of clothing that you will be comfortable wearing while you're pregnant. So the place that I did get my jeans for work that I felt they were more comfortable are the ones that had like a certain latex over the top part. I ended up getting it at the store's Motherhood. They had a special going on, buy two get one free, or I think it's buy two get one free, and I ended up getting some bras as well. Those are buy two get one free. The second one's buy two get the third half off. But something like that. But those are the good place that I bought my my bras and my pants. Now regarding tops, I ended up having to buy extra large or extra large at Old Navy. Again, these are just examples of what I purchased, of where I got them. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to shop there. It's just an example of where I bought them. I didn't buy much because my goal was to just use it while I was working and hopefully lose weight after. That was my goal. But things changed because I ended up getting a C-section, so I can start working out that right after. More of that later. So clothing, I recommend doing when there's sales, buy them now. You won't know how much bigger, but try to get a little, like maybe twice as big as you would get. Before I used to be a large, now I'm wearing an extra large, but while I was pregnant I went to up to 2XL. So just be careful not to buy too much. But at the same time, you have to be comfortable in this clothing, so be very careful. If you could try them out, try them out. I recommend you doing that if you can try it out. That way you yourself can have that feeling. Now, the nesting. Nesting. I was getting ready. I was super getting ready. We were shopping for going through IKEA. I'm a huge IKEA fan. Most of our furniture here at home is IKEA. Most of it is. It's cheaper. It lasts long as you take care of it, just like any furniture. I'm not advertising for IKEA. I'm just letting you know my reasons why. Excuse me. I bought IKEA or go for IKEA. So we were looking at nursery pictures, and I found this really cute changing table, which we ended up purchasing to put her clothing and things like that. And which you can see right over there. The picture I'm posting. What furniture we got, and how we set it up. And also my cousin ended up moving to Texas, and he left some plastic drawers. So all the extra clothing that I got on the baby shower, I ended up fixing and organizing it as well, which you can see over there as well. And then we just got other things from the baby shower, which my family helped me with, the stroller and the car seat, which is the whole set, which also you'll see over there. I ended up getting ready, which was really exciting for me. And I just had to move everything, organize everything. We did live in a 1-bedroom apartment at the time, so I didn't have enough room to do the whole nesting, you could say, or getting the whole thing ready. But at that time, my decision and was for her to sleep with me. Luckily we had a king size bed, so a king size bed is way wider, so we had plenty of room for the three of us. And in any case, we did have a sofa bed, so if my husband had to sleep in the living room, he would have a bed as well, so it would be okay. But yeah, that was my decision, for her to sleep with me. So we didn't want to get a crib right away because of it. And I did get a, like you say, bassinet. For certain occasions or for certain times I wanted to go ahead and place her there. I went ahead and got that for my cousin. Thank you, cuz. And yeah, I didn't buy any clothes for her. After the baby shower, which that's what I did. I waited for the baby shower first. Literally organized everything from months, what we needed, what we have. So I made a list. I made a list of things that weren't given to us, and just went to Target to buy those things that we didn't have, and just have that already said and done, because I don't want to be struggling at the end to get everything. So I recommend waiting for the baby shower. Yeah, trust me, there was like a lot of clothes. I would go and see, oh my gosh, this one, oh my gosh, this one, or that one, or this one, or that one. But then you realize, well, what if she grows out of it too quickly? Which, by the way, she is going through now. She ended up going through her 3 to 6 months clothing really quickly. And I didn't have as much, which is a good thing. But right now what I did ended up getting a lot of is 6 to 9 months. So she's getting there pretty quickly. So hopefully right now she's mostly just 6 months, and she is barely 5 months old right now. And she's already started wearing the 6 months like around 2 weeks ago. So she's growing quickly. So I recommend waiting for the baby shower, and then just get a couple of basic things, which is more important, which is her onesies, depending on the times that she's born. She was born in June, so it wasn't as cold, but now that it is October, November, it's actually pretty cold now. So she's putting a lot of onesies when she goes to sleep. She's a kicker, so her blankets end up being at the end of her feet, which is not even covering her at all. So I recommend getting onesies. And these little guys right here, which is a whole I forgot what you call it, just up to her booty. Plenty of those just in case, even white ones if you want without sleeves, so you can put it under the onesie when it gets really cold. That's why she doesn't sweat too much, which is, she's a sweater. She does tend to sweat a lot. So that way she's not really too hot or sweating, because it's also not good for her to be sweating and then being around the cold, which could get her sick. But other than that, just making sure of a list, plenty of socks, and I didn't have to buy that much really, which was a blessing. She wants to get off. Let me put her down. So that was my nesting experience and baby shower, which I didn't give that much information, but my sisters and my cousin did me a very beautiful baby shower. Go ahead and focus. There you go. Which I'll post right there. My baby shower picture. They surprised me. Winnie the Pooh. Huge fan of Winnie the Pooh. And it was good. It was nice. I had a lot of family and friends there, and like I said, just wait for the baby shower. I registered at Target. Just FYI, not everybody is gonna register. Go to your Target registry, depending on the people you invite. Some people do, some people don't. That's completely fine. I do recommend doing the registry at Target, because they do get you get 5% discount, I believe, of any of the items that you listed on your registry. You don't end up getting. You could actually you get a notification on your email if you register through, of course, the internet. You end up getting a coupon for everything that you got on the registry. If you go to Target and you purchase it, you get 5%, I believe, 5 or 10. Don't get my word on it. I have to double check. Off those items that you didn't end up getting. So it's a good idea to register diapers, wipes, whatever, even bottles. I use the glass bottles, by the way. So if you didn't get them, you could buy them yourself and get 5 to 10% discount. Now there is a time you can use it, and FYI, you could only use it once. Yes, once. So if you think, oh, I'll just buy this amount and I'll come back later with the coupon and buy the rest of it, no, you can only use that coupon once, and you only get it once. So I recommend doing it wisely. Okay. And that's pretty much it regarding nesting and the baby shower. Now, stretch marks. Yeah, stretch marks. My cousin was lucky enough not to get a lot of stretch marks. I, on the other hand, was not. I got stretch marks pretty quickly. I hardly scratched, even though my family watching this were like, you were scratching. Yeah, I was like rubbing, but I wasn't like scratching. So I was using the cocoa butter. The cocoa butter at that time, every single time during the whole pregnancy, but it didn't help as much. Maybe it would have been worse if I wasn't using the cocoa butter. But it didn't work for me 100%. It's a natural thing. It's fine. I don't care. I have my baby, so it doesn't matter. It's battle scars. Darn proud of it. So just be prepared for that. Now, regarding the movements in the womb, it's not a bad feeling at all. I even now still sometimes feel... She's fine, by the way. She's fine. What is mama's? Oh, give me a second. Hey, mamas. She already wants to go to sleep, so we're gonna try to finish this really quickly. So, the movements in the womb, they were very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's a beautiful feeling. You know how you just want to have someone in your arms? Doesn't matter who it is. You want to hold them, hug them, just be there right next to you. That's how it feels when they're inside you moving. It feels warming. It feels nice to, know that you have your baby with you and holding you and just being with you every single step of the way. Talk to them. Talk to your baby. That's what I did with her. I would always talk to her. She would respond sometimes, which is, they say, "Oh, I don't hear you after a few months," and which I'm sure she didn't, but it's just hearing that echo inside of you. She knows, hey, it's you, and they feel that heartbeat, when you're happy, when you're upset, you're mad, you're whatever the case may be. So they feel all of that. So they can respond to you, and that's what she did. She would respond to me several times. Yeah, but so mamas. Like, she would know when I would get on the freeway when I was driving to work. She would know everything. She would respond to everything. Like, if I would listen to certain kind of music, she would respond a certain way or things like that. So they're smart. The babies are smart even when they're inside your womb. So they know exactly what's going on. And so talk to your baby. They understand everything of what's going on. Get them used to sound. Get them used to music. She would literally, when we go to certain parties, she would be happy. She would be excited. So it was actually pretty cool. The movements in inside me. It was actually really nice. And sometimes she, like I said, she would, when I was sleeping, she would knock on me or kick me. There was actually only a couple of times. It wasn't as as often, but she would literally like stretch out, like she would be like or doing something, you know what I mean? So it was a really, really nice experience. And I was only able to record a little bit because it was just, you have to get it at the moment, and there's certain times of the day when they do it. Now regarding the movements, you do have to keep an eye out. You have to make sure to count the kicks. There is a certain graph you have to follow. You could actually look for it online if you want. Your doctor usually do give you a kick chart. But you do have to keep an eye out, which during that time I was scared. Sorry about that. My video ended up reaching a certain max, apparently. So like I said, I was really scared. I was scared, at certain point, like I said before, I was scared of that I actually got pregnant. So every little thing was scaring me. So there were certain times like almost a whole day or half a day that she would move. She would move, and I was scared. I believe there was 10 kicks within every hour or every 2 hours, I believe. So I would be like counting them, like, okay, come on, mama. I would tell her, come on, mama, kick, hit, one more time, move, or something. I would be like trying everything. I ended up drinking some cold water or whatever I could, and I was panicking, but sure enough, she'd move. It's just that I would just think, she just loves to sleep just like mommy. She just loves to sleep just like mommy. So I would get scared because she wouldn't move. So it was like, she was those things that I was like, just keeping an eye out for every little thing while I was pregnant. And yeah. So regarding my emotions. My emotions. Oh my gosh. You could ask my husband. My emotions. I was crying. I was laughing. I was mad. I was sad. I was mad. It was crazy. It was a lot of emotions. I still cry at Nemo. And for every little thing I would cry right now. I'm gonna get her again, okay, guys? Here. So yeah, guys, that was pretty much during my pregnancy. Just continue drinking those prenatal vitamins. Walk as much as you can. Don't do any kind of exercises unless you're an active person that has been doing exercises even before you got pregnant. I've seen and I've read that, you can continue with those type of activities, but of course not too much. No roller coasters. Dang it. Which I ended up not being able to do while I was pregnant. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions regarding the pregnancy or what happened while I was pregnant, I'm more than welcome to answer them. Go ahead and comment on below, and I'll go ahead and respond to them at the end of the video on the next one, which, by the way, I will be reading what the last message I was sent. I'm not going to state who the person was, but I will read what she said, and I will let you guys know what I responded just off the bat. Okay? Give me a second. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read it on my iPad. Hi Jocelyn, I just watched a video about becoming a mom. Because I want to be a mom, we tried last year. And when my period was late, I was certain I was pregnant. However, then my period would show up, and that was totally a bummer. I will consider taking prenatal pills, as many websites recommended. Thanks for the video, and I have a question for you. Did you use any of those ovulation tracker apps out there? I used one that's named Glow. Anyway, thank you for the video, and you guys are super blessed. Which, thank you. So like I said on the last video, they did recommended me to use the prenatal vitamins. It was my decision to use 1-a-day vitamins, the prenatal kind, sorry. So and it worked for me, so you could go for it too. I'm not saying you should, but if you want, you could try it. Now, regarding the apps, I did and didn't. At first, when I was pregnant, when I was trying to get pregnant, I was keeping track. I would tell my husband, let's try to get pregnant now. I'm ovulating. I would use a app called My Period. I would, of course, track my periods, write it down when I started, and they would tell you when is a good time to, try to get pregnant. And again, like I said in the first video, I did try doing that. When I attempted to get pregnant and we got pregnant, like I said, we thought, we needed to see a specialist, and I wasn't going to be able to get pregnant. So at that point, we weren't thinking about it. I didn't realize that I was ovulating. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. I'm not gonna say that I was tracking at that moment, because at that moment I lost hope. For that millisecond, I lost a little bit of hope. Not too completely it's never gonna happen, but I was worried that it wasn't gonna happen. So I wasn't really focused on using that app that much. There you go. So at the end, I wasn't focused on the date when it happened. The last month I wasn't tracking as much, but before, yes, I was using an app called My Period just to track my period, just to keep an eye out for it, health-wise and personal-wise, because you don't want to get stained. But it does tell you also when you're ovulating at the same time. I was considering Glow at one point. I was using for a little bit, but I don't know why. For me, it was too much going on for that app. It was too much for me. It could be different for someone else. It was too many information that it was giving me, and I didn't want to know anything else. It was just I wanted to know when it's time to try to conceive. But other than that, that's it. I used that one, My Period, and that's all I really used. I'm not saying not to use it again, but it's completely up to you. Whew. So yeah. So here's my little one. Hi Zoe. Hi mamas. Okay guys, everybody, thank you for watching, and I hope you do continue following me. Like I said, I will try my best to just do the next video. I really want to continue with this, and I will just say, you know what, doesn't matter where I am, how we are, wherever I could just set up the camera, I'm just gonna put it up and start recording. Okay, so I'll be working on this tonight. Believe it or not, it's 8:13 in the afternoon, and I'm gonna edit, hopefully get it up by today, if not by tomorrow, which would be Wednesday. Like I started saying in the beginning, right? Okay, so I'll do as best that I can, and my next video, focus, there you go. My next video will be regarding my experience in the hospital. Ooh. So I will let you guys know what happened while I was there and how good or bad was it. So go ahead and, like I said, send those questions, comment, let me know anything you want to know, and I'm more than happy to cover. I put as much as I could in this one. So if I forgot anything or any kind of subject that you want to know while I was pregnant, you're more than welcome to ask. Okay? Thank you and have a good night. Bye. Say bye, mamas. Say bye. Say bye.